Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. This is going to be my attempt at putting the tire pressure sensors inside of some pressure vessels that I'm fabricating and pressurizing them. And I'm going to make 4 of these, and I'm going to put them on the 4 corners of the car with some wheels that do not have pressure sensors, and I'm going to try and see if I can trick the car into seeing these as being the correct pressures for the 4 tires and not dumb down the performance or the handling of the car. You guys and gals know what I'm talking about. This is a C6 Z06. It has mandatory tire pressure system on it. So anyway, this is AC Delco. I'm going to try and give you a close-up. There were so many different part numbers and all this stuff. I went on Corvette forum that I just went on Amazon, and it says this will fit your car, 2013 Corvette C06. So that's what I ordered off of Amazon. I think they're about 35 bucks a piece. And let me see if I can put a... Hold on. I wanted to turn the light on and see if I can give you a close-up so you can maybe read some of these numbers. There's a lot of numbers on here, and I'm not going to read off all the numbers. Because I don't know which one is the main number that you would use. It does say it's 315 megahertz, which I think is correct. If I could get the camera to focus, then you'd be able to read these numbers. All right, there you go. I think that's about as good a focus as I can get. All right, now, I don't even know right now if these are the right ones or not, but I'm just putting that out there for you. And I'll show you how you build these things. I bought 10 feet of 2-inch PVC and 2-inch caps, and the rest of it is just drilling a hole, gluing it together, and pressurizing it. So let me show you how I did that. Now this is a little service kit, service pack. It has a new seal, little rubber seal thing, a new nut, which is a plastic nut, I believe, a valve stem. So these are meant to be used over again. It's not like the old rubber ones where they threw them away every time you got new tires. This is a Schrader thing I got from Rock Auto. Very cheap. These were like 35 bucks a piece. So you're going to need 4 of these. I cut them 1 foot, give or take. It's not that critical. I wanted there to be a certain volume of air in here, pressurized air. So if you make them too small, you might not have enough volume of air. Or if you get like 35 psi in there, if it leaks even a little tiny bit, you're going to lose it, and that'll set off your monitoring system. So 12 feet seemed about right, and then I found some places on the car where I can stash these. Take some sandpaper and clean up the ends of it, because you're going to have to glue. You want to have a good glue joint there. Okay, so we're all set here. Now we got to drill 3 holes, 3 more holes. I already got that one done. Drill 3 holes in here. Now, here's the thing. On this one, I disconnected the valve stem from the sensor because, you see, they're connected like that, and this is kind of loose, and you can actually pop this out. It's got a couple of little tiny ears there that you have to just push it by. You can use your hands and just pop it out there, because I wanted this to be squared up, nice and flush and squared up, and make a good seal. And when you put this in there, what happens when you put it in here, it's going to block this cap from going down over here, because this thing is going to be out like that. Imagine I've got a hole in it. See where it's going to be blocking this part from sealing down into the cap. So I disconnected them. And now another way to do this would be to off-center this. Maybe drill the hole over there, because this will bend that much. So if I off-centered it, it would sit down low enough so that you could get this on maybe that far, and it might be a good enough seal. I'm thinking out loud here while I'm doing this, and I'm thinking I'm going to disconnect them all just so that I can have this come down. It has to come down like about that much, and that'll be a good seal. It won't come down all the way probably. So I'm going to disconnect them all. We'll try it that way. You want to try it a different way? Go ahead. So the way I drill these and make it come out nice and dead center and everything, I take a little punch. I'm going to punch a hole there. Not a hole. I'm going to punch a little divot there, just a little depression there, and that I'll use to start my drilling. And I go small, medium, and then this is actually the correct size for these sensors to be, and it is 7/16. I don't know if you can see that. Stupid focus. Anyway, it's 7/16. When you drill the big one, you're probably going to need to hold onto this so it doesn't twist around, because that big drill just kind of catches in the plastic and wants to spin it around. So now I'm going to take a sander and I'm going to sand this flat. So I'm taking the curve out of it, and also taking this little lettering, these raised lettering things out, because I want this to seal, to sit down on there nice and square. There, so you see, that's pretty good. The sealing is actually on the other side, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just want it to be so it can get a good small torque spec on it. So for the actual inside sealing surface, what I did is I went and examined one of my aluminum alloy wheels to see what that area right there looks like on a real wheel, and it had a little bit of a bevel to it. So I'm going to take this grinder and grind a little bit of a bevel onto these, so that this, see on this one it's black, but on these it's like a, right there, that's a good picture of it right there. See, it wants to sit in like a little kind of bevelly area, so I thought that would make it seal better. Okay, so I got a little taper there on each one of those. I'll clean it up a little bit more with a little sandpaper. I also am, by the way, I'm going to use a little silicone in addition to this gasket. It's not meant to be that way, but I don't think it'll hurt anything. And since I'm not mounting it on a real wheel, I'll just figure that'll help a little bit more. I'm not sure if I gave you that part number or not, but if it turns out that this is the correct one, that's the part number right there. Well, the specification on this is 71 inch-pounds. It's a piece of plastic, so that's the equivalent of approximately 6 foot-pounds. 6 foot-pounds is like the minimum on my small torque wrench, which is really not accurate at the minimum or the maximum. So all that said, I'm just taking this crescent wrench and tightening it up. Hand tight, let's say hand tight. I have strong hands, so you figure it out. It's not like the old days when you took the rubber ones and popped them through and it was done. So next thing, well, not yet. I'm going to use some purple primer and then some PVC glue and glue this cap on one end of this. Then I'm going to stuff in some of this cushion, and then I'll put that in, and then I'll stuff in some more cushion, and then I'll cap the other end. I would mark these so you know how far, you know when you've got it in good and far. It won't go in that far, I doubt very much, but it'll go in about that far. Yeah, actually I did get it in a little further than what I thought. Anyway, that's good. You want to have as much surface contact as you can to make it an airtight seal. If it's going to leak at all, it's probably going to be at the stem there. Okay, so I stuffed some bubble wrap in each one of those. Now I'm going to wrap these sensors in a little more bubble wrap, and then I'll put some more bubble wrap till I'm all the way to the end. I need to go find some bubble wrap. You know, I just had second thoughts about using this stuff because this is filled with air, and I'm going to pressurize that to 30 at least PSI, which is going to collapse this, which is going to mean I won't have very much cushioning in there. So, thinking out loud, I got to find something else to stuff in there for cushioning. Okay, I found this. It's not, there's no bubbles in it. It's just cushiony plastic. I'm going to test it with that to make sure it doesn't melt, because I did find some of those peanut things are made out of certain materials. You know, those packing peanuts? And this will melt them. So I'm going to mark these. This has small plastic bubbles. This has flat sheet plastic cushion, and whatever. I might end up with 4 different things in here. Yeah, that goes in pretty good. It doesn't have to be like packed solid, super solid. So I got enough for 2, and then I'll have to go find one more thing. You know, this does actually have air bubbles in it. Let's see if I can pop one for you. They seem to be harder to pop. Anyway, I'm going to use it. Yeah, here's something right on my workbench. I guess, you know, they talk about open cell and closed cell foam. So this is, I believe, open cell foam, because I can't pop this. So I'll use that for the last one. Now, before you seal up the other end, take the valve stem, the inner thing in the valve stem, the actual little core. They call it a core, because otherwise you're like pressurizing this thing if there's no place for the air to go out. I found that out on that one. So we got them all out, and now we'll seal up the other end, and we'll let them sit for a little bit, then pressurize them. And I'll check that one, see if it's still got 31.5. Really, it only has to hold the pressure for the length of your event, whatever your event is. And, thinking out loud here, it could gain pressure just the way tires gain pressure, so you probably don't want to inflate it to the max. I'm trying to find out what the min and max pressures are for the system before it cuts out your power, and what I've seen so far is like 25 on the low and 40 on the high. I don't know if that's true or not. I have not seen it in print anywhere, but so I'm thinking maybe set all these to, they wouldn't gain as much pressure as a real tire, but they would gain some pressure if they're sitting near the engine or near the exhaust or something like that. So I don't know what, they're not going to lose too much pressure. I don't know, maybe set them towards the low, like maybe 27, 28, something like that. Okay, so that's about it for today, I would say. Let those dry, put the stem back in there, and fill them up, and then probably tomorrow, well, I don't know. I've got to wait till I take off my original wheels that have sensors in them. You have to have the sensors separated from each other. So you can't have like 2 or 3 sets of sensors all near the same car, I believe. So maybe tomorrow I'll change that out, and then I'll stick these on and I'll try programming them. We'll see. Anyway, Froggy out for today. Happy 4th of July. Bye-bye.